Hey everyone, it's Don with Don's Field of Dreams Cards. Making a video tonight just to show some baseball cards. Just want to get back to what attracted me to YouTube to begin with, is just to look at cards. And so I'm going to show all of my pre-war cards, which, don't worry, I don't have a ton. It's maybe 20 cards here. And as a collector, I like to think that my education with post-war is, I have a graduate degree and maybe working on my PhD. My knowledge of pre-war, I would say I'm in the fourth grade. And when I got on YouTube, I wasn't even in preschool yet. So I know very little about pre-war, and I'm trying to learn. And fortunately, I'm on a text with myself and 6 other guys that we're all going to be rooming at the National together. And 2 of the guys, Rick Oddball Cards and John Mangini, know quite a bit about pre-war cards, and that they show quite a few cards that either they purchased, they have in their collection, or they just see on eBay or another auction site, and they share with each other. So it's always piqued my interest in learning quite a bit from those guys. But let me get on with the cards here, and we're going to start with the 1941 play balls. To me, one of the prettiest sets out there. I've said before how I like artwork on cards, and that's just kind of appropriate, being close to July 4th, even though I'm sure the banners in the back are probably for a World Series game. But just a great card, as many in this set are. Literally looks like, this is something you could hang on your wall. The next card from the set is actually one of my favorite cards of all time, and it's not because of the player or the value. I just think that's a beautiful card. Just the scenery in the background, the shadows. The last one also had a shadow right here, and you'll see that with the Goudeys too. Something about that I just think is really cool, and like this is just looks like a painting to me, and just takes me back to that era of baseball. I shouldn't say takes me back. Before Alan rips on me and says I was alive then, I wasn't. So this is cards from the same set, and it's a very nice card, and I love having Hank Greenberg in my collection. But look at the difference in the backs. This one's just a little boring. All it has is the shadow. Still love it, but it can't hold a candle to this one right here. Then I have a 1940 play ball, my only one. Not a big fan of the black and whites, but it's still a pretty nice card of Mickey Cochrane. And then the next set is a lot like the play ball set. They're just great cards, and it's the 34 to 36 Diamond Stars, my Paul Waner. And I was watching TJ Maxx video last night. It was his response video for Dylan, what card he would put in that frame, and he showed this card. And I never really paid much attention to this guy, and he was wondering who number 28 is, and I don't know, as did he, but something to look up. That's what's kind of fun about cards. Sometimes there's a story in the background that you can do research or find out about. A couple more cards from this set. Purely bought this card because I thought it was fun, not because of Hal Trotsky. Just thought it was really cool, the umpire and the catcher, checking the batter out. The ball that he just hit looks like it's going down the first base line, maybe a home run. So, great card. Another one of my Pirates from the set, Pie Trainer. Another card I bought because I thought it was fun. And I'd seen this on some live videos, or somebody showed this card on one of their videos. I don't remember who. But just with the mask and the ball flying off the back, just another great card. This card from the set I actually bought because of who owned it, and I showed this card recently. And bought this card. 1, it's a Hall of Famer who I didn't have in my collection, and 2, Lionel Carter owned it. So if you don't know much about Lionel Carter, do yourself a favor and just do a Google search. One of the grandfathers of collecting cards, and one of the original guys that kept his cards, and he kept them in pristine condition. So had to get a card his from his collection. And my last card from that set always have a hard time focusing these in. But Carl Hubble, yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to focus very well. So then we're going down to 1934 Gaudi. It's my only card from this set of Floyd Vaughn, better known as Arky Vaughan. So when I was saying I was learning things on YouTube, this next card, I had never heard of this set before, never even seen it until a bunch of guys started showing it. And it's the 1933 DeLongs. And again, so every card I'm going to show on here, I think I've shown at some point. And bought this one of Pie Trainer, my local dealer, and he was upset with the grade that it got. He subbed it himself and was expecting a much higher grade. And it's just a beautiful too. There's no creases on this thing. Very little rounding. The color's great. The back's fantastic. So I'll take a 2 that looks like this all day long. So I was very happy to take that off his hands. Another great set, the 33 Gaudi. I was looking for this card at the National last year, Lloyd Weiner, and I could not find it. And then I came across a really great looking one, and I was so excited that I found it. And then I looked up, and it was one of the auction houses. So I guess that's one of my complaints about the National is, or maybe the only complaint really, is there's, there'll be 5 or 6 auction booths, but the cards are not available. And when I had looked at the copy that the guy had, he's like, well, this will be available in November, and this is in August. And I was like, well, I don't want it in November, I want it now. But actually, I believe I got this one from Allen's Cards. So, look at that card. Here is a card I did pick up at the National. This was on my list. Dizzy Dean, love that card. So I did have a question for some of you Gaudi experts. Some of the Gaudis have the big league on the bottom, and some of them do not. And just curious why that is. Did they come out at different times? This has the little logo, although it has it here too. So, something I don't know about these cards, why some of them have the big league chewing gum on it and why some from the same year do not. So if any of you guys know, I'm sure some of you do, please leave it down in the comments. I would love to hear about that. Lefty Grove from the 33 Gaudi. Very awesome card coming up that I picked up from Brian B. Ross 6. And as soon as I saw him post this, I jumped on it as soon as I could. Just a beautiful card of Charlie Gehringer. Again, doesn't have the big league chewing on the bottom. But just love the purple background on this card. A couple more from this set. Pie Trainer. You guys might hear my dog in the background there with her name tags rattling. Sorry about that. And Henny Manouche. Focus these in. Then Lloyd Weiner's brother, Paul Wainer. Again, the big league chewing gum. Another card that I got from Allen's Cards. So now we're moving on to the 1927 E210 York Caramel, Type 1. This is where my ignorance shows. There's so many cards, E's, T's, 210, 10 whatever, 1120. I'm just making up numbers that really confuse me. What does Type 1 on this mean? I know T's are for tobacco and E is food. And I'd heard someone say they thought maybe E stood for eating. I don't know if that's true or not. But just a great card. But I know so very little about what the Type 1 means and all the different numbers. I know that they are the set, but just don't know a lot about that. So I'm still learning. 1922 American Caramel, again, E121, so E for the food. Babe Adams of the Pirates. This was an affordable way to get a Triss speaker. Even though it's from 1914, it was not outrageously expensive. And it's a game or a playing card of Tris Speaker, but I still think it's really cool. You got the Polo Grounds in the back. Oh, it does say game up there. So great addition to the set. Then I just, two more guys. T207, John McGraw. I almost said Tug McGraw. This is the only miscut card I have in my collection, you know, that's slabbed that way. And to me, I couldn't even tell. I mean, it's a little off-centered, but the registration, and I just like cars that don't have creases through them. That's my biggest thing. And this one does not. So a really nice card of the 1912 T207s. So one set that I don't have a card from is T206, and was possibly at the National thinking about a Chief Bednar or maybe a Sam Crawford, you know, more in my price range type Hall of Famers from that set that I might be looking at. My last one, which I think this comes from a great set, the T205 Christy Mathewson. And some of them are way more colorful than this. You know, not in the greatest condition, but like I said, I don't like massive creases. I mean, there's a little bit here. But for a card that's 111 years old, and I've shown this before, and wish you didn't have that ink spot or whatever that is, but it doesn't bother me when I'm looking at the front, obviously, because it's not there. So, guys, that's the extent of my pre-war collection. Not nearly as extensive as my post-war, but fortunately there's guys on here like Rick and John and Andrew Nuff Said Cards and Dave Blue Jacket 66 and others that really make this what makes YouTube great, that I can learn from those guys. So as always, guys, thanks for watching my video, and I'll talk to you soon. I think you